What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Making It with Marcus and Marianna. I'm Marcus.
And I'm Marianna.
We're here today to discuss a little bit about some of the stuff that we've been talking about over the last few weeks. After our Quiet on Set episode, we've gotten a lot of feedback and a lot of questions from some viewers and colleagues, some people that are coming up in the industry and really just wanted to learn a little more about the inside and, what to expect. And, as they're going from show to show, production to production, they kind of want to understand what to expect and, what they're going to be walking into, what kind of environments you see. And so we'll try to give a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, I mean, we're only a couple years in. We're still learning as we go. We take it day by day, but it's a learning experience. We've been able to grow a community around this industry and within ourselves, and that's a really big part of it, and really just how to maneuver through. I think there's a lot that goes into it. Mm-hmm. We've talked about it in the past about networking, how to apply to jobs. Now that you're in the job itself, like what does that entail? And there's a lot of things in the news about Quiet on Set and the way people are treated on set. And I think we have a different perspective on that. It's a really different time now than that was like 10 years ago. But yeah, we have been able to grow in this industry over the last couple of years. I think for me, it's been like 2019, so like maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
And so going show to show, it's all a learning experience, all different shows, all different things, all different types of people, and getting acquainted with them. So that's kind of what we're here to touch base on is when you're in there, how do you maneuver around the industry?
Mm-hmm. And like any job, it's not that much different where you're going to be working with people that you like, you don't like, some that annoy you, some that you love. And I've been lucky enough to have some great experiences. I've had a few, quote unquote toxic experiences with, people that I've worked with, but not necessarily, the broad company of production that I've been working in. It's never been something where, oh man, this job is just so terrible, I can't handle it. But everybody runs into those little things where they maybe butt heads with somebody, or it's just somebody has some drama and it's just kind of clouds the environment. And I've been able to maneuver my way through. I'm kind of very calm, even keeled person, so things don't necessarily rile me up or anything. I've had times where I've had a boss that's screaming in my face, yelling in my face, and I don't even flinch. I just don't say anything. And I don't know if it's that.
No, I would not be that way. I would be the complete opposite.
For real. Like, it was crazy. I was, like, standing on the street in New York, and my boss just screaming at me in front of everybody. And I just didn't flinch. I just kind of, I don't know if it's in the back of my head. I just know, like, the bigger picture is he just wants the job done. I really didn't even, like, fuck up. I don't even think it was over anything crazy. But, like, he just wants the job done. I just want the job done. The longer I fight. That's why
he calls you back for more jobs. Is because he yelled at you and you took it.
He'd still be on my line. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm like, that makes sense. Exactly. I would never. I mean, it also depends, like, where you are in that situation. Are you in the wrong? Is it the heat of the moment? Can you really step into that person's shoes and be like, oh, okay, that's how they're feeling. Like, it's not about me. They're projecting. But again, I also don't ever feel like if you're feeling some type of way, you should put that on someone else.
Totally.
And I can, not that I'm like affected by it really easily, but like when we're at work and someone's like in a bad mood and like they come around and they're like spreading their bad mood, I'm like, nah, don't bring that around here. I think that can affect me, but I mean, I don't let it like continue out through my day, but like that is like keep your shit over there and I'm going to keep doing me. So I don't think if someone were to yell at me at work, which it hasn't happened. I mean, he says he was stern with me. And I made sure to let him know, like, as he was being stern with me, I was being stern right back. And I was like, he's like, you don't do this. And I was like, well, you literally don't do this. And so it was like this back and forth. And he's like, well, I wasn't trying to be. And I was like, okay. Let's just see eye to eye. Don't put me in my place. Don't try to put me in my place. I know my place. And that's really just that. So I think we're also in a different generation where we are able to stand up for ourselves more so without maybe feeling like we're getting fired, because there's also laws around that. But also to have that respect.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. So when someone's yelling at me, they don't respect me. So I'm doing what I'm doing because I respect you, I respect this job, so don't yell at me like you don't respect what I'm doing. So I think that's what it goes into. I'm not just gonna have someone yell at me and just like, that's fine. Like,
For sure.
no, like, fix your shit and then come talk to me. So
No, I get that totally. And I think, my specific situation, it was like a run and gun shoot that we were doing in the middle of New York. We all had no clue what was going on, but we were just trying to do the best we can. And, things go sideways. It's heat of the moment. His personality, I know he ain't mean it wrong. Like, literally, still hits me up, like you said. So I know he ain't mean it like that, but it's, things that you just deal with. And, I look back kind of when I think about it is like, what if I had, blown up right back and like really like took it personal and, what would have happened? And, I think that me staying even keeled and calm in that situation kind of definitely helped me. And that's definitely helped me. I think that it would have maybe gone negatively.
I think that's a big thing. What you said was not to take it personal.
Yeah.
I think when you're at work, a lot of people take things personally. I know I've said it before where I'm at work and it's 5 a.m. and I'm on set and I have to deal with a bunch of guests, and the person who booked these guests comes up to me and is like, we need coffee. I'm like, you see the coffee sitting right there. Like, I'm literally doing 500 other things, just like, and I might be like, okay, it's right there. They might think I come off as a bitch, but I'm like, I'm just doing my job, and that's how it's just, that's it. And I don't know what to say to people sometimes. So I'm like, well, it's there. You could do it, and I'm going to do me. And keep going. And
unfortunately, like in our line of work and production, we deal with talent and people that feel very entitled. And so, for me specifically, I don't mind it just because I'm like, let's just get the job done with and over with so I can go home, make some money.
Yeah.
You got to be a little bit of a people pleaser sometimes. And, you just sometimes just go with the flow. People act out of, they say stuff that's so out of pocket and act out of their way. But like,
well, I think it's also the right time. Like, I know when to be the people pleaser. It's when it's the guest.
Yeah.
If it's someone I'm working side by side with and it's simple tasks like that, just like have perspective, understand.
For
like,
sure.
I'm not doing this to be rude to you. I just literally am doing a job. You have a second, you can do it. It's not about, it's like there's a bigger, like, again, there's a team around you. Like, everyone should be doing their role. So I think when you see someone doing something and you're asking them to do something else that you could easily do, like, take that initiative. Go do it instead of like, maybe getting upset because they said they can't do it.
Right. Don't put it on somebody else if it's something that you can do. And like I said, like we said, like coming into this production, you got to wear all hats. You got to be prepared to kind of just help out wherever, do whatever you can, because there's so much stuff going on.
But also, I'll never forget my first day on Dr. Phil. They told me, my boss, I love him, he's the best. He told me, he's like, make sure you do your job. And if someone else asks you to do another job and you don't feel comfortable doing it, say no. But also, just knowing that if you do say yes to doing that one job, say it's, I don't know, setting up a room, right? Like, it was my job title. But say it wasn't in my job title to go set up a room or put wardrobe in a room. All of a sudden now, every single day, that person's going to come back and ask me to do the same job or expect me to do it, and I'm not getting paid to do it. So kind of also think about that. Like, you might be wanting to do more and willing to learn more. Be okay that you might not get paid for it, that those people might expect you to do it. Now, if you don't want to do that at all, then just don't do it. I mean, I was definitely put in a lot of positions where people would see me being that person who does everything, and I wouldn't mind because now it's gotten me to where I'm at, but now I pick and choose those moments. Like, I'm not just going to go pick up something from the printer because that person asked me to, and then I don't even know where they came from.
No, sure. Like, and there's all, like, time and place for everything, and some things are bigger helps than others and, may get seen as like, oh, wow, this person really goes out of their way to do this and this. Doesn't necessarily have to be picking up paper from a printer, but there's ups and downs to doing all of these little things to help out a production or help out whatever job it is in general. You can be seen like somebody that is willing to take the initiative and do everything for someone, or it can lead you to get taken advantage of. Yeah. And especially if you're in a toxic work environment with, upper management or, bosses that don't really respect you and kind of, treat you differently than a lot of people, like, you can get really taken advantage of. And I've seen coworkers that I work with, like, go down a really bad negative path of, getting taken advantage of, and next thing you know, they're fired or, get laid off, and, they didn't even see it coming because they were just kind of naive to the fact of that they were getting taken advantage of and that their boss was a toxic person.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, I've seen it. I've definitely been kind of like around. it could have happened to me. Like, as easy as that is, like, I'm just so willing to go out and do things. And there's been situations where, like, maybe a segment director was like, hey, get their luggage or something. And I was like, no, that's not my job.
Right.
Yeah, I'll get luggage for guests. You're an older person, you're this, you're that. But that's that person's stuff. I don't know where, who, what, when, where, why. I think it was also during COVID when that person had said that. And I was just like, it was extremely rude. And I was like, no, it's not my job. And I just turned my back and I let that person handle what they had to handle because, and I might have probably came off rude at the time. I mean, no one ever complained about it. It was not an issue because it also wasn't in my job to go pick up that person's bag and take it down the stairs. Also, you're a grown man and you're asking me to go get a bag for someone when you're right there. You just pick it up and take it down the stairs. But it happens. Like, there's so many people that just are so easy to take advantage of you. So people get lazy. They're just like, I've been doing it for long enough. Like, now it's your turn to do it. And I'm like, okay, you can help. Like, it's just, I don't ever want to be put in a position where, like, I feel like that person is constantly just, like, doing things for me and I can't do them for myself.
Yeah, and I often hire PAs, like production assistants for people I don't know. But I often hire them, and I expect a lot because I remember when I was a PA and a runner, I was all in. I really wanted to show my best and do a lot. But I don't expect them to, like, go completely out of their way doing things that is so unnecessary. So when I do see other people in a higher position go to my PAs and try to ask them to do something that doesn't really help the production, that kind of takes them out of their job and it's not helping me with the things that I need, I will be the first one to stick up for my PAs and be like, no, this is not happening. I can't have you do that. I need them over here doing this, this, and that. And, you know, some people, like, you know, take it so weirdly, like, oh, well, I'm this, this, and that. I'm a producer, a second producer. I can do this. Unfortunately, you can't. You have to know your place, show respect to everybody. PAs are just as important to the production as everybody else is. Without PAs, like, a lot of our stuff wouldn't get done. And I love to, you know, have their backs in those situations because they are the first ones to get taken advantage of quickly on a set.
And it always starts from the bottom and it works its way up in that sense of, like, I always feel like the most important person on set is the person who's at the very bottom because like a lot of the times the production assistant is the person doing everything.
They want it.
And they want to get up to the top. And a lot of my friends are production assistants. I've personally never actually been a PA, but all my roles have been, like, PA related.
Sure.
And when I'm on set, it's like I know, like, the first people I go to are the PAs who know everything. Big time. I'm like, hey, I need to know where my guest is or where my talent is. You know, even Justin, who's behind the camera, he's always on set near me somewhere. I'm like, hey, Justin, hey, do you know who P3 is? You know, get all the third guest of the day. He's like, yep, oh, makeup, cool, great, thanks. Can you text me when they're ready? Yep, great. So it's like just knowing who your PAs are, knowing who the audio guys are, the lighting guys, like things like that, like the little, like, pieces of the puzzle, like those are important pieces, not just the people up top, because those people up top aren't going to be up top forever, in the nicest way. They're eventually just going to get old.
It happens.
And
we've seen it.
Yeah, I think that's a really big thing, is just, like, being able to grow, letting the people around you know where you want to go, allowing them to help you get there. And if those aren't the people, then keep on going and the right people will be waiting for you.
Yeah, and I say that I'm lucky because when I first started in the industry, I was 18. I might have been 17 still, but I was an intern in post-production, and everybody that was with me, surrounded with me, was, you know, grown men that were, you know, age 40 and older. And they were such nice guys. I can't repay a lot of the information that they gave me because they just kind of talked to me about, like, how to deal with some of the people that are there. And there were some, you know, people that weren't so nice to their colleagues and coworkers, and they really taught me how to deal with them at, like, a young age. I'm still learning all the stuff of production. And so over my time, now it's been 8 years that I'm in the game, and I've definitely learned how to maneuver and pick out the people that want to see me grow, want to help me, that don't really care about people that are below them. And that's really important to, like, be able to maneuver and, you know, pinpoint who it is that you want to be close with, stay away from, and those types of things.
Yeah, no, big time. It's a game of just, like, trust. I think really, like, that ultimate, the first instinct of, do I trust that person? Is that person really wanting to help me? Do they see me for who I am and not trying to use me for what I have? There's a lot that goes into it, and just kind of, like, trusting yourself and then trusting them. And it goes a long way.
Totally. It definitely does.
Hey there, marvelous movers and shakers, tuning in to Making It with Marcus and Marianna. Are you ready to be a badass in a career that brings you pleasure? I'm Madison, dear friends of your new favorite podcast hosts and friendly neighborhood pleasure positive podcast host. And holy F, I've got something mind-blowing for you. Brace yourselves, because your career is about to get a pleasure-filled upgrade. If you're ready to level up your career game and reconnect with your inner badass, you're in for a treat. Picture this, a 21-day self-worth reset course designed to unleash your inherent power, brought to you by the Pleasure Positive Podcast. We've curated the best exercises and pleasure practices for self-worth from over 300 episodes of our top-rated sexuality podcast. And trust me, this is a game changer. Every day, you'll have access to guided audio prompts, journal prompts, custom meditations, basically all the secret sauce that has turned our Pleasure Positive Podcast into a must-listen phenomenon. But wait, there's more. Dive into our private Facebook group. It's like the Hogwarts of self-love, full of support and connection to empower you through the 21 days. Now here's the kicker. This transformative journey is normally valued at $37, but it's on the house for you extraordinary listeners of Making It with Mar. Yeah, you heard it right, free. So if you're ready to treat yourself like the VIP you are, reclaim your essence and kickstart an extraordinary career, sprint over to pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar to snatch up your free gift. Your self-worth is like a rare gem. Precious, undeniable, and definitely worth flaunting. Don't wait. Take the first steps towards the career of your dreams. Visit pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar now and let the magic begin. Disclaimer, this offer is as wild as a unicorn ride with limited time and quirky conditions. Check the website for all the delightful details. Once again, that's pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar. pleasurepositiveliving.com/makingitwithmar.
So like I said before, we've gotten a lot of feedback from viewers and friends that are in the industry, and we kind of want to throw it to our boy Justin to read off some of the questions that we've received.
All right, so a couple of the questions you guys got in from viewers. I like this one because I think this is I think this also ties in with a question of what makes a good boss too. Yeah. So the first question is, how do you distinguish between a tough boss and a toxic boss?
That's interesting.
And I'm going to add on to that. How do you distinguish between a tough boss and a toxic boss, and what are the qualities of like a tough boss that make them, a good boss / mentor?
Sure. Yeah, I can kind of speak to this. So over my time in the 8 years, I actually had so many different bosses on the shows that I've worked on. And my favorite ones were the ones that grilled me and were really tough on me, because I also put a lot of pressure on myself to be really good and, do everything to a T. And as a coordinator, you're budget tracking and, scheduling and making sure things run on schedule and like on time. And so there's a lot of little details that I have to pay attention to. And over time, I've gotten so much better at just slowing down and picking out the right things and doing everything correctly. But there was times where I was going so fast, just trying to be the fastest person, super efficient, and I would mess things up. And my bosses would totally come right at me. And the ones that were, stern but respectful, and yes, I mentioned earlier that yelling situation, but he was actually a great boss. He was so good at just, teaching as he was very stern with me, if that makes sense. And I try to, when I hire PAs and stuff like that, I try to implement a little bit of that stuff. I try to be stern, but I still want them to know that I have their back. I'm with them. I respect them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll go on toxic then, because that's stern. So I think toxic is bosses who have animosity behind what they're saying. And it is sometimes it's easy to catch on and sometimes it's not easy to catch on to. I mean, it's if you feel like you can't walk into work and talk about maybe one or two personal things without those coming back at you later and feeling like backlash. It's never happened to me. I've seen it happen. And just like the constant nagging, right? Someone who has to micromanage you of a job that maybe not need micromanaging. Someone who takes a job more as a militant instead of a leader. Someone who's really wanting to guide you. And I've seen that too. So it really, toxic is like someone who really is just also stuck in their position.
Right.
Who isn't willing to help grow other people and themselves. And so I think that it really sucks when you see a boss like that because they're already higher up. So it's like, do those other higher ups see that? And they're just okay with that? Are they oblivious to that? And then it also makes it a little difficult to be able to talk about that. I know it could be harder to go to, like, if you have to go through your boss to get to HR about your boss, that makes it hard.
Yeah, very
so
true.
there's,
I've seen that.
Yeah, there's levels to it where it's like, how do you adjust yourself to those types of people? And is it worth really having that person as a boss in the end? Is it worth that job? I don't think I personally would be able to withstand that for a very long period of time. If I want to say good morning to my boss and they're like, morning. Cool, great. That's how our day's going to start.
Yeah.
You know, and even like, hey, we're getting lunch. Cool, great. Like, okay, so like I just like a boss should also want to be at work. If your boss seems like they don't want to be at work or they're doing things to also make you feel like you don't want to be there, toxic. Yeah. Like that's just a toxic boss, and it could go in any industry. It doesn't have to be production. I see it only where I work, so it's just like, and not where I'm at now, not me, but it's there. And so just to kind of like keep your eye out for someone that doesn't want to help you succeed. If you can't trust your boss, that's kind of toxic. It really, in little ways, like just even one personal story. Like I should be able to go and tell my boss what I did over the weekend, one thing about it. And if they're like, oh, cool, great. And then I'm like, oh man, I'm tired. Well, was it because you were out drinking? Oh, unless it's like a joking tone, but unless it's
and
not.
That makes it personal.
Yeah, and it's a dig. I don't think a boss should ever come at you for enjoying life.
Exactly.
So I think that's toxic compared to, you know, helping you and pushing you towards being better.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree with that.
What else we got, Justin?
I was actually going to ask if I can throw in a little anecdote that would lead into another question. Okay. So, one of like my first job ever in the industry, I had a very, 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 I cannot stress enough, very tough boss. And I think if there was like a fly on the wall, they might see it as toxic. But and to like give a little bit of context, like my nickname on set was either film school or my favorite piece of shit. Wow. Yeah, but it was all good. I mean, it was just like very much like
He brought you down.
Not really. It was like no, because he kind of like would like he incentivizes like I know I'm hard on you, but one things I want you to leave this job for, because I know you're not gonna be stuck here forever, is I want you to leave here with like tough iron skin, because if you think I'm like a dick to you, you're gonna meet like so many worse people on set.
That's fair. Yeah.
But what he said was, I want you to understand it's that I'm not coming at you and I'm not being tough on you because I'm doing it because it's fun, because like you're like the Grom, right, in your little Grom phase right now. But I'm tough on you because I want you to be able to walk onto a set that's going to go 14 plus hours where the AD's just about to explode. The grips are just like rushing through and are like yelling at people to, you know, get out of the way, or we need this like on set in like less than 5 seconds and you only have 3. Yeah. And it was just, you know, I'm tough on you for a reason. So I didn't really consider it toxic. Sure. But as he said before, he was kind of preparing me for what I would expect in the industry, and I did meet a lot more aggressive folks. But I always like telling myself, like, you know what, if I'm ever in a situation where I'm getting grilled for something, even though it's not my fault, I know just like deep down, like, you're not, like, I'm listening, of course, but I'm not fazed by this. Like, I've dealt with way worse. But that leads into the next question is, how do you maintain professionalism and composure in, tough situations with bosses, upper management, other departments? Like I said, we've all worked on sets where, we're going past 12 hours, or we're going overtime, or we're doing like rolling lunches, and where different departments, whether that's the production office itself, where it's coming from a producer team, whether it's coming from G&E, camera, it can get tough. It can get a little snappy at some points, but how do you maintain composure and professionalism in the midst of all that?
So I actually have a great example, and it's super funny to me. One of my coworkers, she last year during a long remote shoot, it was like very, very long days, and people were, like you mentioned, the people were getting on edge, and they're out of state and on this shoot for multiple days. So what she decided to do was every hour on the hour group line dancing. In the middle of production, she would have everybody get up that was in the room, whoever was in that room. She would have them get up and do line dancing. They would turn the music on and get the energy flowing, and people would just completely change.
Like country line dancing?
Country line dancing, straight up. Everybody would get in there, get in that groove, and start dancing.
Yippee-ki-yay, gonna be a good day.
It's funny. She's an aspiring country dancer or country singer, if you guys don't know.
Yes, I am now.
Oh God. But anyways, no, it was so funny, and it's like so her personality to make that a thing when I think back on it. But I wish I was there, because it would have definitely changed my attitude if I was in a down mood or tired, stressed, whatever. I'm sure it would have been, something that uplifted me and uplifted everybody there.
I mean, shoot, I wish we could all have that energy to keep going. I know when I get into moments where it's like a lot of pressure, there's a lot going on, and I'm tired and I'm stressed, and I'm like, okay, breathe. And there's like moments where it's like, I just feel like when it comes down to that, you feel like the whole world is against you, kind of, but you're all still a team. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what can you do, or who can you talk to like really vent it out? Like, some days, like when I've been on a show where like we tape 6-7 court cases a day, and I'm maybe the first case and my producer's the last case. So we're there all day long, and there's that in-between tired gap, and it's like, how do you push through? How do you not get tired? How do you not want to go home? There's definitely extra coffee, a lot of extra coffee, a lot of deep breaths. I do find myself, instead of like getting frustrated at someone else, like sometimes I'll have to, like, if I get upset and I have to type out an email or something, like I'll type it out exactly how I'm feeling the first time, and be like, all right, get it out. You this, you that, you didn't do that. I had to do all the work. And then I'll let it sit, and I'll read it back. I'm like, all right, delete. Cool, great. Let me figure out how to really like communicate to this person, like what's going on. Or I'll find my work friend. I think it's really important to have a work buddy to go and talk to that you can really trust. Really trust. I say that with meaning, because you might think you can trust someone, and you might say the wrong thing to them, and they'll feel some type of way.
Yeah, it happens.
It's happened to me. And so I think with that, it's very hard. Trust the people around you. Trust yourself. Know when to go outside, get some fresh air. I think it's okay to like go to the bathroom. I've been on set, or no, I was in the office, and I was going to the bathroom, and I got out of the bathroom, and then the bathroom door next to me, I was washing my hands, and the door opened, and I didn't hear anyone in the bathroom, like nothing flushed, nothing, like it was just like, I was silent, like I wasn't scared either, but I was just like, oh, hey, like, and I knew the person. I was like, hey, what's up? And she's just like, oh, I just come in here and just sit on the toilet and just, I don't actually go to the bathroom, but I just come, this is my quiet space. And I was like, I feel you. She's like, yeah, just a lot going on, especially during lunch, working through lunch. And I'm like, girl, you got this. Like, and that was her moment. Like, people have their ways of coping on set. It's go to the bathroom and sit there, find a trailer, sit there. It can be difficult. Also know that if you're going to be on set for like a bunch of days in a row, that can be long hours. Give yourself a few days break outside of that, and revamp, take a nap, juice up, ginger juice. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. You don't want to wear yourself down. You want to feel the best you possibly can while there. Yeah, no, that's a great question because it can get very difficult.
Big time.
I would actually like say too, like how to like on the composure side of things, because I also first AD occasionally as well, and if anyone who knows what a first AD does, it's not a very it's not the most liked to remember on set.
Yeah.
And I mean,
well, they just have a bad rap, but their first ADs aren't bad. They're just the person that has to kind of keep everything under control for the director. So people who don't know, the first AD is the person who's assisting the director. The director needs help. They need to make sure everyone's on time, ready to go, ready for that next scene. First AD, that's their job. So that's what Justin does sometimes.
It's a job where occasionally, sometimes you might need to lay down the law a little bit, and some people might not really listen to you on that just because they have the backing of like
of course.
their department heads and whatnot, and understandably so. But I think on the composure side, my advice would be just not to take it personal. Ever.
Yeah.
I've had to, get stern with a few people a few times on set. And, of course, I don't believe in just, like, screaming my face off at you in the middle of set because you, like, did something. Just because a good quote I like to live by is, like, I'm going to butcher this, but, like, when you see, like, two people screaming at each other, you might look at the other person as a fool, but from afar, another person can't really tell the difference. So
that's fair.
I will never put someone in a compromising position where I'm singling them out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because that's, in a way, can be taken as, oh, he's personally, like, singling me out. So I'm taking it personal.
And other people that are looking in definitely are going to look at that guy. I mean, first impression, probably like, oh, wow, that guy's an asshole just screaming at this person.
Yeah.
But
I mean, our set, we just did that. We literally just went through the same thing. Marcus came to our set. We were, like, showing him around, but we had an AD on set, and the first couple days, everyone's like, he yells. Find out he's actually just a really big guy, so he has a big voice. He doesn't actually just yell to yell. He's just loud. A big guy, big voice. But there is, like, that attention-grabbing, quiet on set, like, and it's there. It's loud.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, a lot of people act out of their regular personality because of pressure. There's so much pressure put on people within the production industry. Regardless of the amount of pressure that you put on yourself, somebody else is going to be there with pressure put on you. And so you just kind of have to be willing to, understand that you got to kind of take it on and sometimes just take some things on the chin and run with it. Yeah. Like Justin said, his past boss was, trying to give him a thick exterior so he could, endure, people that are worse than them, maybe tougher and, maybe the toxic boss that you're going to experience. But that, at the end of the day, will prepare you to, help you evolve and be successful, I think. And for me, I was kind of given that tough exterior a little bit, and that's why I'm not really fazed in, situations where somebody's going crazy on me or things that in the production are just out of control. I know how to stay calm in those situations and just kind of go with the flow. What's the next thing that needs to be done?
Yeah. I just already have the tough exterior, so it's just there.
You got 4 brothers.
I got 4 brothers. Just kidding.
You guys got time for one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Yeah. So, as I was saying before,
do we have a positive one though? Let's turn it positive.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like
I think this one can be like switched on.
I'm like, we don't need to be so negative, Nancy.
Yeah. Kind of going back into what my advice was as to not taking it personal. I know you guys can handle yourselves on set. But not everyone is like us, not everyone has put in the time or has had to deal with, the, I guess, outliers, for lack of a better word. For someone who's probably just getting into the industry and is getting like thrown right into the mix of things, they might not understand that at first for like the first month or for the first season or for that first project, and they might go on to their next project with like a sour taste in their mouth, but they have like dreams and aspirations of like making it as a camera operator, as an actor, as a director, whatever it may be, a producer, associate producer. So how can you work with an unbearable and toxic work environment, whether it's the set, the hours, the people? How can you work in that type of environment while still coming out on top and being successful?
I mean, that's easy. For me, at least. It's not, okay, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's you. It's all about you. It's your energy, the way you lead into things, the way you take it on. We worked at a place that was a really big daytime TV talk show that was known to be toxic to viewers, the way guests were treated on that show, to the other people that worked there. And we would, anytime I would go on to the next job and they'd be like, you work there? Oh my gosh, you know, you're a survivor. How are you? Like, you okay? Like, what are your stories? And I'm like, oh wow, like there's like and you don't realize when you're in toxic sometimes that it is toxic.
Right.
So getting to that next step, I think it's finding those people inside the toxic environments. I was able to find some really great mentors along the way, to really help me. If I didn't have, and I'll name it, Matt, thank you, Isaac, thank you, Shantae, thank you, like I've had Christian, thank you, like these people have really uplifted and guided me through these somewhat toxic environments and the toxicity of this industry, and give me those pointers. Like if I felt like I really didn't know what to do and I couldn't go to my own producer for help, you know, Matt was there for me. If, you know, Isaac is my producer now, and you know, he's even had his tough moments on me where like I like to do what I like to do, but he's like, anyone's replaceable. And he doesn't mean that in a mean way. He just means it in like, you know, like, you don't want to come back next season, it's replaceable. You know, you do really fuck up, you're replaceable. Yep. But to be better so that you don't have to be replaced. So I think there really are those people inside of those toxic environments to hold on to. And then when you do see those toxic people that don't want to help you grow, because that's where I was at also, in an environment where I was ready to grow and I was trapped. They were like, no, we want to keep you here in this department. Again, a whole nother season. I was like, not doing that. So really latch on to those people that are going to help you learn how to write, learn how to produce, show you what is it? Not a call sheet. Now I can't even think of what it's called, but it's like a storyboard, or when you're directing, what the director's script looks like compared to the actor's script, and like all these different things that, you know, you want to learn. There's someone out there who's willing to teach you, and it's going to take you some time maybe to go from show to show and learn those things. But I wouldn't be here if I didn't have those mentors to get me from a talent coordinator, a runner coordinator, to now an associate producer, helping direct and produce other things. Now we have a podcast. So there's levels to it, and I think if you can break out of the toxic environments, or notice that you're in one and latch on to the positive role models, that's when you'll start to flourish inside of this industry, in any industry, I guess. Yeah, so it's just about finding your mentors.
Yeah, and I would say for myself, I would say just really being yourself, knowing who you are and just being yourself, going through those environments, I think is the most important thing. I knew who I was from a very early time in the industry. I knew that I've just always been this calm person that doesn't take things personally. I know people are going to come at me, things are going to come and go. But at the end of the day, if I stayed true to myself, and just did what I had to do, I knew that I was going to come out of it and be okay. I had some role models along the way. I wish that I had people that I really could trust and talk to the way that you do, that are still around me, because that is super important. I truly do wish that I had some of that. I have a few people here and there, but you know, some of the people I've heard you talk about, they really know you. You really know them, and that's invaluable for sure.
Yeah, they're family. Like, you build your community. I think, and really having that, like, they're like brothers and uncles, and, you know, work dads and work moms, and like that kind of vibe. So I think it really is like being open and letting them trust you. Like we just found out Marcus had met my producer Isaac, and he was telling us little things like about like taxes and production and like all these things. And he's like, you didn't know that? I was like, no one tells you that. And he was like, oh, these are things. And I was like, cool. Like, so like when you really do find someone that tells you things like that just out of nowhere, like those are the people that are really willing to help you instead of gatekeeping things from you, because we just can't be gatekeeping like good information that needs to be shared, that is going to help someone grow. Yeah. And that's what we're all about. It really is getting to the next level. How can we help each other, and sharing what we've learned along the way.
I'm kind of like a huge advocate for this. And we're talking about quiet on set a few episodes back. I think one thing I can for sure like give people is that if you do feel like you're generally like or genuinely being disrespected, or you're in a situation on set or in the production office where you're having like boundaries crossed, say something. Most definitely. I'm sure wherever you're working, there's either like a crisis hotline or an HR. Speak up for yourself, for your peers as well if there's something happening. Kind of like as other people say, if you see something, say something. Yep. Yeah, because I think we gotta. Because we talked about this on like another episode too, where we got to just get out of this like toxic, classic, old Hollywood work culture, and we're not going to really escape that if we don't say anything. So if you do feel like you're being disrespected or, God forbid, assaulted in any way, say something. And if you don't have a HR team or a crisis team that won't listen to you on that, you don't need to be there anyway.
Yeah, big time. On Justin, big facts, because that is exactly how we should end this episode with, if you see something, say something. Don't forget that there's so many movements going on right now. There's Quiet on Set just kind of dropped the biggest bomb for people in production to really bring it to in front of your face. So just do what we can to make this world a better place. That's what we're trying to do. I know that's what I hope all of our viewers are trying to do, and we will continue to do as we continue to make these episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Just continue to respect everybody, and, just do you and be you throughout the whole process, and you'll find success, and you'll find people around you that you want to be surrounded with, and your growth will be exponential. So thank you guys again. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. We want you guys to continue to follow us every step of the way.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Making It with Marcus and Marianna. I'm Marianna.
And I'm Marcus. We'll see you next time.